Hello and good evening. Welcome to News Rounds on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejere. Now the headlines. Warri Indigenous Peoples Movement cites BVAS data, declares Itsekiri's majority in Warri. Warri South Local Government Chairman bans rallies amid protest violence. Delta State Commissioner raises alarm over media censorship in broadcast industry. Peter Obi denies 2027 vice presidential deal with Atiku. JAMB to release receipt results for 379,000 candidates. And on sports news, Manchester United close to signing Matthias Cunha. Now to the news in full. In Warri, Delta State, the Warri Indigenous Peoples Movement has cited data from the bimodal voter accreditation system to back claims that the Itsekiri ethnic group forms the majority in the Warri federal constituency. General Secretary of the group, Comrade Monoyo Edon, made the declaration during a rally that traversed major roads in Warri. He responded to recent comments by Ijaw and Urhobo leaders, stating that claims of Itsekiris being fewer than 10,000 were laughable. Edon also expressed support for a fresh delineation of electoral wards across Nigeria, but criticized INEC's recent fieldwork in Warri, accusing the Commission of flouting Supreme Court guidelines and continuing its controversial record in the area.
It is laughable that the Ijaw claim that the Itsekiris are not more than 10,000. In reality, the Ijaws in Warri Federal Constituency are less than 10% of the Itsekiris. We restate that we are not against the Supreme Court judgment on the ward delineation, but we maintain our stance that INEC must follow its own guidelines.
Still in Delta State, following recent clashes during an Itsekiri protest allegedly disrupted by Ijaw youths, Warri South local government has imposed an indefinite ban on all protests and rallies. Announcing the decision after a security meeting, Warri South Chairman Comrade Agbate Yuniro Wemi Isaac said prior approval is now mandatory for any gatherings. He pledged to maintain public order while ensuring a safe environment for businesses to thrive. The Delta State Commissioner for Public Information and Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads, Mr. Charles Anyago, has expressed serious concerns about increasing media censorship, warning that it poses a significant threat to the broadcast industry in the state. Speaking at the Delta Broadcast Media Conference 2025 held at Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba, Anyago emphasized that all forms of censorship, whether from the government, regulatory agencies, or self-imposed by journalists, undermine press freedom and the public's right to information. Themed Broadcast Media, the pathway to unlocking Delta's possibilities, the conference brought together media professionals, stakeholders, and government officials to discuss the future of broadcasting in Delta State. Anyago reminded attendees that Section 22 of the Nigerian Constitution tasks the media with the duty to hold the government accountable. He stressed the importance of allowing media to operate freely while upholding ethical standards and responsibility. He also criticized the unchecked spread of misinformation via social media, calling for a higher standard of journalistic integrity. He urged media organizations to invest in the continuous training and retraining of their personnel to enhance professionalism across the industry. In his welcome address, convener of the conference, Ruki Onoro, described the gathering, the first of its kind in the state, as a platform to shape a sustainable future for Delta's media landscape. He called on the state government to pay greater attention to supporting and strengthening local media outfits. Economist Bismarck Rewane has cast doubt on the credibility of Nigeria's latest inflation figures released by the National Bureau of Statistics. While the NBS reported a marginal drop in headline inflation to 23.71% for April 2025, Rewane highlighted anomalies including high inflation in food-producing states and low inflation in key consumer regions. He likened the data to the recent JAMB exam scandal, suggesting possible data integrity issues. Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has denied rumors of accepting the vice presidential slot under Atiku Abubakar ahead of the 2027 general elections. Speaking in Abuja, Obi clarified that any coalition talks he is involved in focus solely on governance reforms. He emphasized that his political ambitions are secondary to the need for better national leadership. JAMB says it will release the results of 379,000 candidates who retook the 2025 UTME this Wednesday after technical failures affected the initial test. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede took responsibility for the glitches, many of which occurred in Lagos and southeastern states. Of the original candidates, fewer than 1% scored above 300, raising concerns about the exam's fairness and transparency. The Southeast Caucus in the House of Representatives has called for the total cancellation of the 2025 UTME and the resignation of JAMB Registrar Professor Oloyede. Led by Igariwe Iduma Enwo, the caucus blamed widespread technical failures for undermining the exam, stating that all 5 southeastern states were disproportionately affected. They labeled the situation a catastrophic institutional failure. Human rights lawyer Femi Falana, SAN, has criticized the proposed bill seeking to make voting compulsory in Nigeria, calling it unconstitutional. The bill, sponsored by House Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, suggests penalties for voter abstention, including fines or imprisonment. Falana argues that this infringes on fundamental freedoms guaranteed by the 1999 Constitution. Chief Justice of Nigeria Kudirat Kekere-Ekun has advised new judges to uphold integrity and professionalism as they assume office. Speaking during a judicial induction event in Abuja and represented by Justice Chidebere Uwa, the CJN emphasized the importance of judicial independence and ethical conduct as pillars of public trust. Peter Obi has addressed speculations surrounding his recent trip to the Vatican, insisting it was a personal, reflective visit and not politically motivated. Obi stated via social media that he did not meet Pope Francis and urged the public not to politicize his presence at the ceremony hosted by the Holy See. A new report by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security reveals that over 34,000 Nigerians gained U.S. citizenship through naturalization between 2020 and 2022. Nigeria ranked 15th globally and led among African countries. The Democratic Republic of Congo followed with a sharp rise in 2022 naturalizations. The figures reflect a growing trend of migration and assimilation among Nigerians in the U.S. And now to sports news. Manchester United are on the verge of signing Wolves forward Matheus Cunha in what could be their first major summer acquisition. The Brazilian striker has long been linked to Old Trafford, and reports indicate United are ready to activate his £62.5 million release clause. Cunha has already expressed interest in leaving Wolves for a new challenge. And that does it on today's news round. A quick look at our headlines. Warri Indigenous Peoples Movement cites BVAS data, declares the Shekiri's majority in Warri. Warri South local government chairman bans rallies amid protest violence. Delta State Commissioner raises alarm over media censorship in broadcast industry. Peter Obi denies 2027 vice presidential deal with Atiku. JAMB to release receipt results for 379,000 candidates. And on sports news, Manchester United close to signing Matheus Cunha. Thank you so much for watching. Please follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates. I am Nkechi Tejere. Good evening.